Okay, this is the third time I'm going to make this video. This is on some reviews. So what I did this past couple days, because I didn't go to the gym, I decided to chill at the house, sit in a hot house because our air conditioner doesn't work, and read the X Lives of Wolverine, or the 10 Lives of Wolverine, and the 10 Deaths of Wolverine. Let's just say it was kind of eye opening. Earlier, was it late last year to earlier this year? This series came out. You know, one, like that. And I waited until I have all five of X Lot 10 dives and all five or 10 deaths before I read it. So let's talk about the 10 lives of Wolverine. Number one, number two, number three. I really like this cover. Number four, really freaky. And number five. The story deals with Omega Red, one of my favorite X-Men villains. The X-Men and the mutants decided to take him in and basically rehab him. He realized something's up, and then Mikkel, this guy named Mikkel, who's Colossus's older brother, Kit, technically recruited him to kill the X-Men, so to speak. So they had this what they call a cerebral sword, which I don't know where that came from, but oh well, whatever. And use that to propel Omega Red back into Professor X past. Realizing this, now mind you, if you ever seen the X-Men Days of Futures Past, this story reminds me of that, where Wolverine went back into his younger self to, you know, I forgot what he was. He to rescue Professor X or something like that, or stop Magneto, or stop Mystique from ruining everything for the creation of the Sentinels. That's what this was about. For Wolverine to save Professor X. Different timelines, Wolverine shows up to save Professor X from being assassinated by Omega Red. For the most part, it was a pretty decent story, for the most part. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed it. I couldn't wait because you didn't know what time period. It wasn't actually Professor X, but more like his timeline. Professor X's timeline is like his great grandfather, his grandfather, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. And this is kind of freaky that my hands are doing this. It's kind of freaky, which kind of tells me that maybe this thing is about to go bust. Maybe it's time for me to buy a new laptop, maybe. Let's see, I had this for what, 4 or 5 years now? I think it's time for me to upgrade to a new laptop, possibly. Oh well, let me know down below if you think so. Pretty much the showdown between him and Omega Red. They come back to the surface. They brought up Vietnam, that storyline where the alien symbiote was in Vietnam. They brought that storyline up. So, which means that something big is going to happen. So Wolverine gets back to normal, finds out where they are. Mikkel ditches Omega Red, and Wolverine and Omega Red has a big knockdown, slam dunk of a fight, in which, of course, Wolverine wins and basically slices this motherfucker in half. I hate it when they take very good villains. Now, here's the problem. Because you did that, will that affect Omega Red in a future movie. Who knows? But basically, this is a, in my opinion, this is a good story. It basically is Days of Futures Past, in my opinion. If you don't believe me, watch that movie and read this, and you'll understand what exactly what I'm talking about. Let's talk about the 10 deaths. In my opinion, this fucking sucked. This fucking sucked. I'm like, good lord, this fucking sucked. Basically, what this reminds me of Terminator. Going back in the past to kill Sarah Connor. Well, guess what? Wolverine goes back in the past. If you remember the Dawn of X and Powers of 10 storyline, X storyline, where in the far future, the Sentinels, they pretty much decimated all living life kind of thing. They sent Wolverine back to kill Moira McTaggart. The central piece that founded the whole thing was about of the whole new X-Men storyline about he sent to kill her, and it's just pretty off wall crazy. I read this and I'm like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? In my opinion, this part's, I mean, this is like number 1, number 2, number 3, and of course Wolverine's children is involved. Dakin, Scout, and the Laura McKinney, number 4, and number 5. Yeah. In my opinion, this is a ripoff of Terminator. A bad ripoff of Terminator. And the bottom line is Moira McTaggart downloads herself into a robotic body. Now she's going to be a new villain. A person who was for years and years was a supporter of the X-Men, a big classic supporting character, is now the villain. Guess you didn't see that one coming. But anyway, in my opinion, instead of these separate series, they could, in my opinion, they just included this in the actual Wolverine storyline. The actual Wolverine, the 10 Lives of Wolverine Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the regular Wolverine storyline. That's what, in my opinion, that's what they should have done, but this is a separate thing. And the funny thing is, the one good thing about this is that for every X book, whether it's X-Men, Excalibur, X this, it has ramifications for the whole mutant kind. So that's the best thing about it. And so I can't wait to see what happens next. But anyway, these 10 books was somewhat enjoyable. The X Lives of Wolverine, or the 10 Lives of Wolverine, perfect, good story. Just a rip-off of a movie, in my opinion. The 10 Deaths, Terminator ripoff. But anyway, let me know if you read these stories. Let me know down below how you felt about them. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back in and sweat myself silly. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.